This week, what I want to talk about is you. So I've been doing a bunch of coaching with different clients of mine during the week, and there's been a running theme, and the running theme has been them. You know, like we've kind of, you're sailing along, you know, with general ups and downs of business life and life in general, and then this hit, and it was like, oh man, this is bad. This is hard. And then we've kind of been through that for 4 or 5 weeks, and things have started to normalize. But as they've started to normalize, there's this feeling of, oh no, this is kind of never going. This is never going to go away. And as part of that new normal, it's kind of like, how do I need to show up for my people? You know, like how do I need to show up for my business so that my people, my clients, my partners, and my suppliers all get a sense of confidence from me? So if you get this right, what happens is that the team read your signals. You're almost like a symbol for the business. Not that things are going to be perfect, but that, you know, you've got their back, and there's a confidence that things are going to, you know, be okay. If you get this wrong, they kind of feed off. The sun just went down beside me, clearly. Lighting just changed. They feed off the badness, right? They feed off the negativity. They feed off the anxiety. And, you know, that becomes contagious. So it's on you, right? This is the challenge. This is a little bit on you. So like I've been doing, let me just share some of the work I've been doing. And I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to sort of get a whiteboard out and talk it through. Okay, I'm not going to, you guys know the big picture. The problem I'm talking about today is the problem of you know, and your mindset and your thinking, and how do you lead through isolation, cancellations, and distractions. So I won't go through those problems. What I will do is get you a sheet, right, so that you can follow through with me. You may relate to this, right? So here's the way we typically think about a business and running a business and running the, you know, working with the people beside you is you've got a kind of a dollar ambition for the business, and you've got a vision off into the future of where you want to get to. And, you know, that doesn't have to be about just money. It's often about impact, freedom, whatever that vision is in your mind. And, you know, a lot of the work I do is helping people work out what that is and then share it amongst the founders and the team so they're clear on that. But either way, you would have been kind of, you know, had that in your mind. And then what you've been trying to do is with your staff members, is, you know, connect them to that vision so that they buy into it, they own it as much as you do. And then what's happened is come, you know, a big external shock over here, which has kind of put this into question, and meant that we've kind of, you know, you've been on this ride. Well, you know, I don't know whether it's coming out for you. You could be just sort of down here, you know, and wondering where you come out. Now, as I said, if you get this kind of right, you can lead through this and still have people as connected and committed as they were beforehand. But if you get this wrong, what happens is that people kind of feed off the anxiety. And not the confidence. All right. So one of the things I was talking about last week is, sorry, not last week, this week, is I do a lot of work with people on their ecosystem, which is just a fancy word for who are all the people that your company interacts with and relies on and needs relationships with for it to be able to achieve its vision. And so if you think about this being, internal, all those relationships with staff members, managers in your business, and this could be your bookkeeper, but all the people that you rely on to deliver the services to your customers and your employees. There's also an ecosystem, an external ecosystem, okay? This is getting a little bit messy, so bear with me. Actually, you know what I'll do is, just because this is live, I'll make it a little bit less messy by taking that stuff down there. All right, that'd be better. It was just getting a bit out of control. So there's internal and there's external. Okay, so external are things like partners, other companies that you have connections with that either service the people you service, or you go to market together in a consortium. Could be suppliers, but most importantly is your clients and customers. So these are the people that you have the relationships with, that use your services, that you're trying to develop and deliver an amazing experience for. So I don't know about you, but first of all, a couple of problems seem to have occurred for many of the people, because, whoops, that's yellow, you're not going to see that, because many people, they're working from home and they're disconnected. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't have meetings, but the reality is that for many of them, because they're disconnected, they're having a lot more meetings internally, right? So, where before they could see people in the hallways and they could run into people and have coffees, now, there's actually a massive amount more meetings, and that's taking up all their time. And what's stopping, and the impact of that is that people are losing space in their days, right? Space to be able to think, space to be able to think of the big picture. So that vision, or that making sense of the vision and what does it mean, some of that stuff's going out the window. And then the second bit you're missing is you're spending less time externally out into the world, for good reason, because we're locked down, right? We're spending less time up here with all those external stakeholders. And for many of you, this is where you get that intel. Is that 1L? I think so. 1L or 2. That's where you get that market intel, and you get the insights that you then give me the right, can take back to the team as interesting, and even fuel your own juice. All right. So is this making sense? So think about the fact that we've been riding along with a sense of where we're going, and that's been all disrupted by this shock. And because we're working from home, most of who we're exposed to are our internal stakeholders, which is good, but the meetings have gone through the roof, and you've just got less space. And at the same time, the time you used to spend thinking about the future, you don't spend as much time doing that anymore. And these market insights, or that connection you used to have externally, just doesn't happen as much. So what can you do about it? There's my teenage son having a lot of fun out there. Here's what I've been talking about. The first one is you're very much in the now. Okay, for a good reason, because things are changing so fast out in the world. So what I've been saying to my clients is just take the space. Actually, let's do this in a bit of a different order. Let's call that number 2. Number 1 is try to delegate or free up 2 to 3 hours by attending a few less meetings. And the insight was, maybe I don't need to attend all those. Maybe that's not, someone else can attend on my behalf. And the second one is try to shift the now to the future. One of the things that, so the first thing that we get juiced up by is just a little bit of freedom in our days. And it's important to stay connected, don't get me wrong, but just a little bit more freedom to think. And then when you get that freedom, try to think not, a planning horizon a year ahead, but just think, what would the end of July look like? Okay, what would the end of July look like for you and your team? But importantly, what do you want to get out of this next 2 or 3 months? Okay, so free yourself up, start thinking 3 months ahead, start thinking by the end of July. And then the third one we talked about was a really interesting one, which is, to what extent have you got booked in meetings, and these could be group or individual, with your external stakeholders? And the conversation was a lot about empathy. To what extent are you out there in the market understanding what your clients, customers, suppliers, and partners need? And if you go external, often that's the thing where you get the creativity and the juice. Okay. So it is on you, right? Right, this moment is on you. You've been sailing along, there's been a big shock, but what we want to come across is confident and engaged, not anxious, if we can. Now, I'm not saying anxiety is bad. We all have anxiety at times. But what I'm doing here is helping you see where you fit and how you feel. Are you spending all your time internally working from home in internal meetings, or have you got that nice balance in your ecosystem? 3 ideas, which is just to free up a little bit more time, 2 to 3 hours. Plan till end of July and get a really clear sense of what you want to achieve by then, right? To give you some focus and some inspiration. And the third is get out and be empathizing and engaging with people out in the external world. Either FaceTime meetings or these type of meetings, Zoom meetings is a great way to do it. If you run a business and you need help with this stuff right now, it doesn't have to cost a lot. Or people that need help with their strategy or coaching help, just mention them to me, share this with them, first of all. And then I'd love for them to either join my group or join the Reason in the Road so I can help them out. Hope that's been useful. Have a wonderful weekend for those that are watching it. And if you're watching this the week after, have a great week. Talk to you soon.